Is the speed of thought time independent and instantaneous? And is the human being the perfect time machine? If so, how can we gain the other 90% of our brains?
I can make a brief comment on the speed of thought. The speed of thought has long been a subject of debate and consideration by philosophers, but there is some actual physiological experimental evidence now. And not only is the speed of thought, it turns out, pretty slow, but in a sense, its speed is negative. How does that work out? It turns out that this is based on actual physiological experiments where they were trying to answer questions such as, how is it that we know that the signals, the electrical impulses that travel along our nervous system take a fraction of a second to get anywhere in our bodies? So, for example, if you touch a hot surface, it takes perhaps a quarter of a second for that signal to get from your finger to your brain. Yet we seem to feel it instantly, and we do react instantly, otherwise we'd be much more severely burned at the touch of something hot. And so they were trying to answer the question of how does this all work, the fact that we seem to sense it instantly. And they found out some very interesting things, that the conscious mind is not, in effect, giving you a version of actual events, but it's giving you something more like an instant replay. What happens is that as the signal travels up the arm to the brain, there is this delay, and the mind actually recreates things and places everything in the proper sequence so as to make it appear to you that everything happened instantaneously, simultaneously with the event. That is, the autonomic nervous system causes you to react immediately, but the mind always creates the illusion that it's in control. So by the time it is, the whole sequence is replayed for your consciousness, a quarter of a second later, the consciousness places the mind in control as animating the arm and pulling your hand away. What they did was do some experiments in which they interfered with the signal's arrival in the brain, and they would have a subject pressing a stopwatch, for example, when he felt a certain touch or something that he couldn't visually see coming. And he would try to react as fast as possible and press the stopwatch. Well, when the signal, the touch was given, and the subject would react with his autonomic nervous system and activate the stopwatch, but then the signal would be prevented from getting to the brain, and the subject would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't get a signal." And the brain didn't have a way then of putting it in sequence. But when the signal did reach the brain a quarter of a second later, he felt as though he was reacting instantly, without the delay. So I guess this is a long way of saying it's a very, very interesting what we're finding out about how we really work, that the speed of thought, in a sense, is really negative, in that what we sense as consciousness is a very short-term instant replay of what actually happened in order to make us think that the mind is in control and governing things with rapidity as quick as we can imagine it happening. But in reality, the parts of the body have to react much more quicker than the mind can, in fact, control. And that all of that is going on at some subconscious level and being replayed for the conscious mind.